Good evening. Thank you for coming this evening. Please stand for the pledge to the flag. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Okay, the first thing on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. And that's 2.1, which is a motion approving the April 23rd, 2025 minutes of the regular meeting of the town board. So do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, thank you. So Glenn, thank you. And Sue, thank you for seconding. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? And it's carried and unanimous. Okay, and then we have bid openings. Glenwood Road drainage improvement bids were opened on 5/2/25 at 2 p.m. in the town boardroom. Town clerk Deborah Wallace and town engineer Vern Myers opened the sealed bid. Vakri Construction Corporation, thank you. Vakri, thank you. $407,000. Broom Bituminous Products, $489,999.12. Albert Torto Construction, which is $492,876.80. And G. De, DeVicentis, sorry, and Sons, $543,300, and Bothar Construction, which is $599,899. So thank you for all of those who participated. We don't have any public hearings this evening, just supervisors updates. A big thank you to Raj and all of his team in the business office, and Darlene and Ed who helped out as well to pull together to do all the work necessary for the state controller's report. So that was a tremendous amount of work, and just want to say that there is at least one foil pending for the supervisor's report, so they're getting caught up now. They had to concentrate on that to make sure that that was all good and everything was squared away. And now they're moving on to catch up with the supervisor's reports, and they will have that shortly. I know there's a foil pending, so we will have that to you soon. And with that, that's the end of the supervisor's reports. And then now we have the privilege of the floor. So the privilege of the floor is a section that is specifically for agenda items only. And just a reminder of the rules. So each speaker must wait to be recognized, only speak during the designated public comment section. State your name and address before speaking. Speak at the podium. Speak for no more than 3 minutes. Only speak regarding town business. Be brief and to the point. Address comments to the board only. Be respectful of all elected officials, town employees, members of the audience, and all other persons. And in order to ensure an orderly, productive meeting, residents will be heard before non-residents. Speakers will speak in entirety, then will be addressed by the board. So do we have anybody from any resident that wishes to speak first? Yes, please.
Good evening. Andy Gao, 749 Main Street in Gusto. I just wanted to touch again before you voted on the pro-housing situation. I truly believe that that is a very poor decision. I think maybe we should study that some more. I don't know where we get the other 20% to pay for the grants if we don't have the money in the first place anyways, but I just don't see it. We fought for years against high-end housing on Bun Hill. I would dare say the legal fees of type A housing in Vestal are not going to be any less. I just think we should rethink that. But to a more important topic, parading the tax assessor's life out in front of everyone in the community, I don't think is very fair. The third word that you just said in the rules is respect, and I don't think we're showing him any. We're advertising for his job before it's up. I can speak personally and say that there isn't one personal relationship that can't be repaired. No matter how bad it may seem. Mark, as long as we are to say it, Mark is excellent at his job. He's well respected in the community. We heard from some people at the last meeting that that do work with him all the time and feel the same way. And I truly think that like why wouldn't we propose maybe let's do a 1 year and see how we work out, see how it works out. There's got to be some type of HR system that we can have instead of saying 4 months before you're done, you know what, we're not going to hire you, but really you were pretty good at your job, and you probably are the most respected tax assessor in at least in the county, but we're not going to retain you. So I respectfully ask someone on the board to table this discussion for tonight so that we don't make a mistake for our community. If I was to ask, which I did, we sent out 7,400 notices of tax assessment the other day that your assessment has changed. We have so far one grievance filed. So I wouldn't think that that's that bad of a record. And taxes, sometimes are misrepresented that your assessment is what drives your tax bill. Your assessment is not what drives your tax bill. It's how much we spend is what drives your tax bill. If everyone is assessed fairly and equally in the community, your tax is equal. And then it's budget driven, not assessment driven. It starts doing that when you start getting assessments that go up and down and all over the place. And I just truly think that uh, we should really, really think hard about tabling this for right now and looking at a different solution so that we can retain our tax assessor. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I just want to address a couple things. So with the housing, I want to clarify a couple things. We looked into this very carefully and we met with the state. We actually did it during a public meeting. They had a Zoom meeting with us from the state and we went into all the particulars. So we asked all the questions. We asked most of all, number one, do we meet the basic criteria now? And the answer is yes. We have a natural growth in Vestal that is very strong. So you have the growth of private houses that are being built just naturally. And if you walk around Vestal, you drive around Vestal, you will see them being built. So that's their natural growth. We also have three housing developments of our own, which are middle and higher income housing developments. So you have Bun Hill, and then you have two new ones that are in different stages of development. So we have this growth already built in. So buying into this program and saying that we are pro housing actually protects us more than it makes us vulnerable because they can force us to do whatever they want at any given time anyway. Honestly, they can put a housing here. The state can do pretty much anything that they want at any time. But this way, we are saying there was no question. We talked about it before that there was a tremendous amount of state pressure to say, make this one statement. Now, we are lucky in that we are just so naturally growing that we are going to meet the minimum requirements above and beyond very easily. So we're not going to be in the spectrum to have any other housing forced upon us. Other areas, we're not doing that, and they got the pressure, and for different reasons, they got different developments in different areas. So we are protecting ourselves and we are also this has been made very clear to us that this is one of the criteria if we want to apply for grants. So if we want grant money, it is a very strong criteria. And in the meeting that we had, which was a public meeting, they were very clear this is one of the main things that they consider. We may not agree with that, but we have to look at the practicality. So it came down to, is it going to hurt us? And the answer is actually it will protect us and not hurt us because we are going along with the program. But we also ask the very important question, if at any time we say they change the rules or something else happens, we have the right to pull out. And that's the most important thing. So if something else happens or if they want to do something else and because we are this, whatever, we pull out. So we looked at it very carefully. We assessed all the positive and negatives. We are very lucky in that we have this natural growth that is occurring that is beneficial to our community. We want to protect our community and put positive things, positive growth in there. And that's occurring. So since it's already there, in this, it's in name only. So it's protecting us. It's not making us vulnerable. It's actually buying into their program, but we always have the right to pull out if somehow they change the rules on us. Our growth is above and beyond their minimum requirements by far. So even if they change the requirements, we're still good. And we're expanding in a way that is appropriate for our community and in a way that our residents are okay with. And some of our new housing developments are in areas that are the least impactful on residents. So we're going towards that. And hopefully, if we're lucky, we're going to go towards a comprehensive plan. And if we go for a comprehensive plan, we can make a much better specific plan on where we want everything. But right now, project by project, we're saying we want to minimize the impact on everybody. And to your second point, we're simply advertising for skilled positions that are planned to become available. So an advertisement is not anything. And unlike you, I will not talk about personalities here. I support all of my personnel and I respect the skills of all of my personnel. But advertising is advertising. We're not,
That was a dig towards me. Do you think of putting the assessor's job up for bid, like in the paper, is not, you don't think that's throwing it out?
we're
If you're
anti,
trying to dig at me, yes.
I'm not going to go back and forth with you. Okay, you're out of order. Okay,
Maybe out of order.
You're-
After 36 years.
you're out of order.
Do a little bit of it. I've
Okay.
earned it. I
You're-
deserve it. I've earned it.
you're out of order. Thank you.
You're right.
Okay, we're advertising for positions that are planned to be open. So with that, does any other resident wish to speak? Yes, ma'am.
Somebody speaks up, the table this.
In Ketchmar, 300 Marion Street. And I have to say that I agree with everything that Andy has said about Mark. Why would you, with a man of his reputation, one of the best recognized assessors in the state of New York, if not beyond, is up for a reappointment? The assessment office runs smoothly. It runs without the help of Broome County. They're a single entity. It's got a good reputation. Why would you want to all of a sudden just get rid of it? The man has got credentials. Business people look up to him. He knows he's got 30 plus years of experience. Why would you want to go and downgrade our assessor department?
Okay. Are you done? I just have to wait till everybody speaks and then I can address it.
That is my first question. Yes.
Okay. Do you have any other questions?
Regarding the
The agenda
assessor,
item.
just regarding the assessor.
Okay.
I feel that this should not come to a vote. I feel that this should be tabled. Unless he says, oh, he wants to, why would you go and fire or not reappoint somebody that is doing an excellent job? Why would you do that?
Okay.
I don't understand.
Okay. Do you have any comments on anything else? And then,
No, I would
Okay.
like an answer.
okay, thank you for your comment. And the board is going to consider, they heard you and they're going to consider it when we get to that vote. Okay. Does any other member of the public wish to speak? Hi.
Kane, I live on Foster Road and I'm talking about the assessor's position as well. Professionally, I've worked with Mark for over 30 years as an appraiser and assessor. Mark's what's considered an MAI appraiser. And I don't know if you probably know what that designation is. It's the highest level you can attain as an appraiser. There's licensees, assistant licensees, certified generals and MAIs. You know, you can't get any higher of a designation. You cannot. I know for a fact that the city of Binghamton has to hire Mark on litigation court proceedings because their assessor, and I'm not saying anything bad about her, doesn't have the qualifications that Mark has. So that MAI comes with a lot of clout, a lot of experience. And being an appraiser in the area, in my opinion, the town of Vestal is the number one community in the county. Why wouldn't you have the number one assessor assessing the number one municipality in the county? It doesn't make any sense. He can cover every gamut of it, residential, commercial, industrial, all the development, vacant land. He can do it all out of his office, where some assessment departments can't do that. They have to have sub out to Mark. So he brings that much clout to the table. Like I said, 30 plus years of experience, with all that he's done and completed. You have the number one assessor. He should stay in the number one town in the county. That's just my opinion.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, does anybody else wish to speak? Yes, sir.
My name is Prescott Perkins, live on 60 Hogan Road. I belong to a tips club. A lot of the fellows are business people in the town of Vestal. To a person, they were extremely upset when I let them know that what I thought was sort of a backhanded move by the town to change the assessor and change also the town engineer. I think I did the right thing by assuring them that I would come and that they didn't have to. But they have a number of questions which I'll let you be a party to. Did the assessor tender his resignation to you? Did he want not to be reappointed? Is that he had enough already? Has he demanded more money or more benefits? Is the advertising in the hopes of getting a more qualified person? That was one question. And what is the reason that the town does not want to reappoint the assessor and the town engineer? They have a hard time believing that he is not qualified or that you can find somebody better. There's a lot of animosity, and you don't need to have a lot of the leading business people in Vestal get upset. They will, what some of the people here at the town don't realize is that Mark and Colleen aren't just doing their job for the town. They're a very big help to a lot of business people that go in there when they're looking for a building or a piece of land or whatever. He's a big help to know what opportunities there may be in the way of many town functions. There's a lot of crisscross and a lot of effort has been made over the years by Mark to help out and to solve problems with different people. I really feel that you can't help but wonder why this is all happening. Nobody believes that you can get a better person than Mark. Everyone knows that he is an excellent man at his job. I feel that there's going to be more good than bad come out of this for you, the town board, as well as the people. So I would respectfully ask that you try to reconsider this effort. And if you can table it politely, I would recommend that at the very least, it gives people time to cool off and rethink it. Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're
sir.
very welcome.
Thank you. And every board member has heard everybody that was said today. So we can discuss it more when we get to the actual vote among ourselves, if the board wishes. I want to thank everybody for speaking today. I do want to clarify one thing, that, Mark's term is expiring. So it is seeking, qualified personnel. It is planning for the future in every job and every position that we have. And unfortunately, Vern has told us that he's going to retire, and he's been planning to retire at this point he said he would give the town 10 years. And we tried to keep him. And on Monday, there was a discussion and said, try to keep him part-time. And we tried to. The offer is there. Because he is so good at what he does, and but he has made the personal choice to leave, and he's trying to make this position that this transition as professionally and as the best way for the town as possible. He has his heart and soul as a Vestal resident, and he wants to make sure that this town is up and running. So he's planning ahead so that he can train somebody for a while before he leaves. He's already submitted his letter of resignation. It's really going to be a retirement. But it's his personal choice. But he, you cannot say more about him because he is going above and beyond to stay, even though he's ready to go, to make sure that we're okay and we find a qualified person to replace him and he's able to train him properly. So these are advertising for positions, and it's planning for going ahead. It's up to the board what they want to do on the second position for today. But our job is to ensure that that we plan for every contingency and we see for qualified personnel that are out there. So again, it's up to the board what they do. But I want to thank everybody for coming and speaking. With that, does anybody else have any agenda items only? Yes, sir. Okay, is it on the agenda? Because there's a section at the end to talk to on other stuff. Okay, so we'll get to it then. Okay. Okay, any other on the agenda items? Yes.
Bill Stewart, Gardner Road. I too am really disappointed with the posting for Mark's job. Mark's a great guy. He wants to stay. I've talked to him. He wants to stay. I feel like this board has the inability to work with our town employees. I believe Vern would stay, but he can't work with this board. And also, I'm really disappointed of the dig. I'm a town employee that was here for years, and somebody just wants to come up and you go after them. But that's why they don't want to stay. That is the reason. It's that attitude. The inability to work with other people. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is not behavior becoming of a town supervisor. What's wrong with you? You too.
Okay, is there any other resident wish to speak? Or any non-resident? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Debbie Casson, 959 Tracy Creek Road in Vestal, and I'm here to discuss the pro-housing decision that's going to happen tonight.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering if the town has approached the school district about this, because this is a huge decision that'll affect the students, the teachers, and the administration in Vestal. More housing means more students. We have class sizes already that are pretty large in some of our buildings. I've been in education for this is my 33rd year, and I've worked in a school with a very transient population. With more transient students, they need more support, more teachers, more social workers. And I think the district would have to hire more people. So I feel like they should be a part of this decision. And I hope that the board can table that tonight. And as far as everything else, I really wasn't aware of everything else that was going on, but I know personally, in many jobs, when people leave, there are exit interviews, and I'm just wondering if that ever happens, because it seems like a lot of people have left. Someone mentioned on Monday, 10 people have left. So I just was curious if that was ever done, but I'm really here for the schools because I've dedicated my life to students, and I just hope that everybody would be prepared if housing developments came in, because we have such a strong education. People move here because of I did 30 years ago. I moved here because of the education in Vestal, and I'd hate to see that suffer without collaboration.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. And thank you for your work. So once again, the housing, and I understand the concern. The housing, we looked into all the particulars. We had the Zoom meeting with them. We've reached out in other ways. We've done all the reading online and what they provided to us as professionals, within framework for the municipalities. And everything that we see ensures actually that they will not force us to take any housing that we are not. It specifically says that we choose the housing that's right for our community, and we do even have the right to veto even if they propose something. That being said, we always want to say, do we have an out? And the answer is yes. So it was a concern not just for the schools. We don't consult with the schools in terms of that because it is how we grow as a community. But generally speaking, as a community, we decide how we grow and we're making those choices, but we're clearly growing in a very strong way. And because we are a very strong part of the county, they respect that. So if we don't put ourselves in the spotlight and if we grow in appropriate ways for what is good for our residents as we are, then we should have no issue. But we do have the out if we need it. So if there is a problem, and we will use it if we need to. But in the interim, we pursued everything. And right now, it actually protects us from them bringing up and holding grants over our heads and trying to pressure us in other ways. And like I said, if the rules change, we can change our minds. So, any other person like to speak? Sir?
John Farrell, Red Fox Run, Vestal. I've been selling real estate in this community for 41 years. I'd just like to say that Mark has been nothing but totally professional, and I've been involved with all the assessors and all the county. And he's as fair and as good a guy going. I'd be interested to know why, that there's any discrepancy, and if any explanation can be discussed among the people involved. I speak in Mark's behalf. If he wants to stay, I'd be voting to stay.
Thank you, sir. Would anybody else like to speak? Okay, with that, we're going to move on to, thank you, to the next session, which is resolutions and motions, which we do not have any. And Public Works, Sue?
Sure. Let me just turn the page. Oh, no report.
Okay, thank you. But there is finance, right?
Yes, there is
Mhm.
finance, sorry. Number 9.1, resolution for the town board to approve payment in the amount of $3,094 to Coughlin and Gerhart LLP for outside counsel fees for professional services rendered through March 31, 2025. The services are as follows: $2,162 solar law, $932 Article 78.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. And is there any discussion? Okay, so we move to a vote, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? And it's carried.
Resolution for Daniel D. Reynolds, town attorney, to sign an agreement with Condon Appraisal LLC to appraise the property located at 3901 Vestal Parkway East, Vestal, New York, 13850, tax map number 159.09-2-1.11 for a fee of $3,900.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. And is there any discussion?
No.
Okay, so we move to a vote, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? And it's carried.
9.3, resolution for the town board to approve payment in the amount of $661.50 to Bond, Shonick and King PLLC for outside counsel fees for professional services rendered through March 31, 2025. The services are as follows: $661.50 police matter.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
And thank you, Glenn. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. Is there any discussion? Okay. With that, we move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? And it's carried.
9.4, resolution for the supervisor to sign a retainer agreement and fee arrangement with Coughlin and Gerhart LLP regarding an Article 78 matter, Aaron M. O'Malley versus Town of Vestal.
Thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn. And a second?
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. Is there any discussion? Okay, with that, we move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And it's carried. And Sue?
Personnel, resolution for Patrick Harnan, Recreation Planner, to hire the following summer employees. All pay rates are budgeted and background checks have been completed. Start dates for all positions are May 19, 2025. Maggie Murphy, Vestal, Summer Office Assistant, $19 per hour. Sarah Rasta, Endicott, Pool Director, $20.50 per hour. Evan Bryla, Endicott, Pool Director, $20.50 per hour. Jenny Newens, Vestal, Assistant Pool Director, $20 per hour. Cole Devantier, Vestal, Assistant Pool Director, $20 per hour.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Robert. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. And is there any discussion? Okay, so we move to a vote. And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And it's carried. Okay, so next one.
Resolution to approve, yes. Resolution to approve funding for the advertising in regards to the positions of town assessor and town engineer.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. And so do we have discussion?
Yeah, I actually would like to move ahead with the town engineer advertising. Vern has explicitly let us know that he would like to retire, and this does give us time to find someone, put them in place so they can get the proper training so the transition is as good as possible. I would, however, like to see the advertising for the town assessor tabled so we can talk to some more people, put it on the agenda for next board meeting.
Okay, so any more discussion?
Okay, I'll second that table.
Okay, so it's tabled. What, actually, we have to amend it first.
Right. We'd
We have to
amend
amend it.
first,
We'll
yeah.
table one half and then we'll, so,
Yes.
okay, right.
Mhm.
So we'll amend it to resolution to approve funding for the advertising in regards to the position of town engineer. Period.
Mhm.
Correct? Okay, so we'll leave it at that.
Yes.
And we do have to vote on it. So, so do we have a motion for the amendment?
So moved.
Thank you, Robert. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And it's carried. Okay, thank you. So we move on to planning and zoning, Robert?
We did.
No, I think it was first and seconded to table.
I didn't hear a second.
Yeah. Right, we're good?
I think you're good because you. I just want to make sure I get it written exactly right.
I think it was.
Do you want me to do
I
it
think was-
separate?
No, I think it was amended to just eliminate the town assessor.
Okay, so we don't. have
From
to
that
table
resolution, the
other part.
resolution is just to approve
Yep.
funding for advertising for town
Gotcha.
engineer.
Okay,
If we're
separate,
we'd have to do it.
I
Okay,
got it all right.
okay.
Yeah. 11.1,
you.
resolution to allow Anthony Crosby, Building and Code Inspector, to authorize MECTEC HVAC to conduct evening work on the nights of June 16th, 17th, and 18th. The replacement of 48 rooftop units will be done at the Walmart store located at 2405 Vestal Parkway East. This will likely violate the town noise ordinance and therefore needs town board approval.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. And
Second.
thank you. And discussion. So we went back and forth with this, with all the particulars. With the noise, I know everybody had questions about the noise and why it had to be this way and notifications. So, so upon, at the end of it, it's impractical and possibly dangerous to do it during the day when there's a lot of people around. You're talking about equipment that's many tons and cranes being used. That's actually dangerous if there's a lot of people around. So the overnight option is honestly the most practical. However, Glenn had brought up, and correct me if I'm wrong, the fact that he was very concerned about the people in the area knowing about it in advance. So the discussion then occurred, we can put it on the website. We're now announcing it at the town board meeting, which will be reflected in the minutes. And in the third way, we'll do a push notification for one of the alerts for anybody who has the app.
Mhm.
Any board members, or is that good with the board?
Yeah, I also wanted to add that we looked at the decibel levels and how they
Yes.
compared. The code department gave us some information on that, very good information. And although the noise level normally looks like it's not too excessive, we are talking in the middle of the night. So I looked that up and found out that anywhere from 40 to 60 decibels will not only wake someone up, but keep them from falling back asleep once that's done. And in June, many people have their windows open. I don't know if the people in the area would or not, but it's still just a consideration. So I appreciate that we'll be discussing it here, putting it on the website and putting out a push notification. I think it's the right thing to do for the residents.
Okay, I also sent out, I did a canvas of the area, actually, don't live that far from there. So I looked at all the houses around and I looked at the streets that it would affect. And luckily it's pretty self-enclosed over there, but obviously sound does carry up the hill somewhat. So I think it is a good plan. And I think logistically wise, I don't think there's any other way to do it not overnight.
Agreed.
So is everybody good with that?
Mhm.
Okay, so everybody good with moving to a vote? Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And it's carried.
11.2, resolution to establish the town of Vestal as a pro-housing community.
Thank you. So, motion,
So moved.
thank you, and seconded?
Second.
Thank you, Sue, and all in favor? I'm sorry, discussion?
Yeah, actually, personally, I would like to, now that I've heard some from the audience, I would like to look into it a little further myself. So again, I would appreciate tabling this till the next board meeting. That would give me time to look up more information.
Okay, other board members?
Okay, we have looked at this issue. I believe the presentation was in January.
Mhm.
It might have been late January. We have looked at it at that time and talked about it.
He's got a motion.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I have
Okay.
no second. No, I'm not seconding her. Is that work? I'm stopping talking now.
So I've made a motion to table this and waiting for a second.
Okay, so no second for that. So then we move to a vote.
Mhm.
Okay,
Well,
so,
can I just
yeah,
say that we
absolutely.
have, now I'll say it in the right order. So we have discussed this at length since January. We had a presentation on this topic. We more than meet the growth as it is outlined in the program. So in terms of meeting those goals, we would not have to accept housing that we were not willing to accept. So this is in fact not really going to impact us one way or the other. However, it will impact consideration for funding that we might receive through grants. So and we do have the option to withdraw from this at any time we feel uncomfortable with it.
okay. Any other board member wish to discuss? Okay, so then we're moving to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed?
Hey,
Okay, so Sue, Robert, and myself voted aye, and Glenn opposed. Okay, but it's carried. Thank you. And Sue, public safety?
Public safety resolution to authorize Stace Kintner, police chief, to sell a 1986 Ingersoll Rand compressor via Auctions International for $110. It is approximately 30 years old, needs repairs, and has been replaced by a new unit. It will be sold in as-is condition. Proceeds from the sale should be allocated to BPD budget line A3120-4060 operating expenses.
Okay, thank you. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Robert. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Glenn. So do we have any discussion? Okay, with that, we'll move to a vote. So all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And it's carried. Administration, Robert, do you have anything?
No updates at this time.
Thank you very much. So we move to receive and file.
Warrants 2025, 17C, 17G, 17M, 17T. These are the bills of the town that have been paid. G being general operating expenditures, C being capital expenditures, M weekly health insurance, T weekly flexible spending. We also received the April 2025 Town Clerk Monthly Report, the 239 review, Johnson City Solar Moratorium, and resignation of Vern Myers, Town Engineer.
Okay, thank you. So we don't have any petitions and protests. We don't have any old business, but we do have new business. So 16.1 is a resolution for the town board to award the construction contract for the Glenwood Road Great Drainage Project to Vicari Construction Corporation in the amount of the low bid of $407,000. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Sue. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. So any discussion?
Zachary?
Thackeray?
Bakari.
And I didn't.
Zachary.
Thackeray? Yeah. Oh, it's two different
Oh, it
different
is,
ways?
you're right. I think the spelling on the first
Yeah.
page is correct.
Gotta fix that.
Okay, well,
That's a typo.
okay, so can the board concede that however which way it's spent, this is the same company? Can we stipulate that this is the same company that made the bid?
Yes, they match
Okay.
the bid.
Okay, we'll stipulate with that stipulation, there's the same company that made the bid, no matter how it's spelled. So is there any other discussion? So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And it's carried. And 16.2 is a resolution to transfer $5,000 from the town contingency fund to human resources advertising budget line A1430.44141. This will be used to fund advertising for open positions for the remainder of 2025. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Glenn. And seconded?
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. So any discussion? Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? And it's carried. And 16.3, resolution to authorize Patrick Harnan, Recreation Planner, to accept a $5,500 grant from S. Leonard III Water Safety Foundation Incorporated to be used for the hiring of one additional swim instructor to support more swimming lessons for children. The money will be deposited into line A7180.1020. So do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Robert. And seconded?
Second.
Thank you, Sue. And all in favor? Sorry, any discussion?
No.
Okay, thank you. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And it's carried. Thank you. Supervisors' announcements. So we have a bunch. So the registration is now open for the Recreation Department summer camps. For more information, go to vestalrecreation.com. And 2025 Vestal Festival will be held on Saturday, June 7th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Front Street. There will be approximately 150 local vendors, food trucks, a children's arena with games, activities, and entertainment. At 11 a.m., a 25-year-old time capsule will be opened at Memorial Park by the gazebo. Also, the Vestal Memorial Pool will be open for the season on Saturday, June 7th. The Vestal Youth Academy will be held on Monday through Friday, July 7th through the 11th for middle school students and July 14th to the 25th for high school students. For an application, please contact SRO Tukin at mtukin vestalny.gov or call 607-221-5493, and all school districts are welcome. The New York State burn ban is currently in effect through May 14th, 2025. The Code Department would like to remind you of a few things. That now that the spring is here and we are getting the rain and the grass growth, the local code is that grass can be no higher than 10 inches. But what they do also encourage people that if you see that your neighbor's grass is too high, please check in on them, make sure that they're okay. We have a lot of people who are older who might struggle, and we have people who might get injured, might not be able to take care of it themselves, or they may have a medical issue. So we are a new neighborhood, we are a community, so please look out for your neighbors. If you see something that is not the typical, please reach out. Because if they need help, the best thing in the world is to ask them. And then, neighbors are good around here, so people help each other. And if you let us know that they need help, there's plenty of organizations that can come and help. There's a lot of people who will step up and help them themselves. But the most important thing is that we keep that in mind. So, did you want to say something?
Yeah, so this runs contrary to the new thing of no mow May. That is a popular thing. So once you're
just-
over 10 inches, not letting your lawn go for the whole month, you're going to get over 10 inches. So
it's not allowed in the residential areas. Okay.
Not allowed in the residential areas.
Okay, thank you. And brush pickup is beginning. So the brush pickup for 2025 is from May to September, and it's the first Monday of the month. The highway department will have 2 teams collecting brush. And just remember, they may not always come on the first day. They work their way around the neighborhood. So just put it out when it's first available, and they'll come and pick it up as soon as they get to you. If you need additional information, please go to the town website, to the highway department, and on the vestalnewyork.gov. There's committee chair comments and updates. Does any committee chair or any member of the board wish to speak on anything else?
I just have a couple items.
Okay.
Under public safety,
Mhm.
April 22nd, the Vestal Police Department did a community roll call where they talked to the public about the trends in keeping the town safe, and how they've changed over the past year or over the past several years, and what the police department is doing to adjust to that, and training, etc. Also, on April 26th, the fire department held a recruitment day at all of the stations. And that's what I have.
Okay, thank you. Okay, with that, we'll move on to public comment section. So this is the area I think somebody wanted to speak on something other than the agenda item. And just the reminders. So each speaker must wait to be recognized. Only speak during the designated public comment section. State your name and address before speaking. Speak at the podium. Speak for no more than 3 minutes. Only speak regarding town business. Be brief and to the point. Address comments to the board only. Be respectful of all elected officials, town employees, members of the audience, and all other persons. In order to ensure an orderly, productive meeting, residents will be heard before non-residents, and speakers will speak in entirely, then will be addressed by the board. Okay, would any member of the audience, any resident like to speak first? Sir?
A couple questions on, I don't know if this is the right form on town regulations.
So your name, sir?
Thomas Van Dyke
Thank you.
on Sheedy Road. 175 Sheedy Road.
I can try. I'm not sure if I'm going to know the answer.
I
but
was
can
reading
try.
on the code online
Mhm.
and chickens.
Mhm.
Neighbors have free range chickens in a residential area. And from reading, I know it's not permitted, but who do I talk to about that? I've talked to the neighbors.
Mhm.
Where do I go next?
Okay, going to ask for the formality's sake. Are there are those all the questions that you have?
The other
Yeah.
question was, does the town have any restrictions on Airbnb businesses?
So I actually do not know the specific answers to either one, but I will tell you who to go to. So the code department handles, they don't like take animals or seize animals, or they don't do anything like that. But but there is a town code on chickens, roosters, and all animals. So all the information is in the town code.
I read it.
Yes. So if there's something that's non-compliant in your neighborhood, the person that you call is the department that you call is the code enforcement department.
Okay.
So yeah, you just call them up and they will deal with it as any other code violation. And the director of the department is Lincoln Ellis, and he has advised people because sometimes it's easier to observe some things in off hours. So he said that if you have date stamped like roosters, apparently it's a problem with roosters. So if you have a situation that does not occur or you can't catch during normal working hours for them, they will take time stamped videotape as evidence, and you can bring it to them and put it forth to them, and they will follow through and talk to you about it.
Okay.
So they are definitely the person to talk about those two as well. I'm not sure about the Airbnbs, but I would definitely ask them as well.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, does any other resident wish to speak? Does any other non-resident wish to speak? Okay, with that, then we're going to conclude the meeting. So do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Sue, and seconded.
Seconded.
Thank you, Robert. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Okay, so we're adjourned. Thank you. Have a good evening.